What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Tej will be killed off in F9. I know starting kind of off with a very bold idea, right, or a bold statement. I don't know if I for sure want this to happen, by the way. I'm not rooting for major characters to die in F9, but I thought, this would be a good way to start kind of a mini-series. I want to talk about quite a few different characters and what they may do with them. And I think there's several candidates to be eliminated. Not that Fast and Furious is exactly known for killing people off. It's kind of known a little bit for that, but mainly keeping people dead is their biggest flaw, their biggest issue, I guess, in general, is that they can't seem to keep people dead. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing. I mean, obviously, justice for Han is very important to me, just like everybody else. I personally want Giselle back, which is kind of the only other at this point, right? Because they faked this out with Dom's death. They faked this out with Letty's death. They've done a lot of fake outs, and they've kind of brought them all back. Giselle and Han were the only two that kind of stayed like that for the most part, and then they bring one back, and I hope, honestly, I do hope that they bring the other one back. But Tej, I wonder if this is his time, and I'm going to explain why I think it could be in this video. So, if you guys do like this stuff, and I will be doing this again more often with other characters, I want to talk about different things in regards to F9, make sure you guys are subscribed, make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle, links in the description below. We have a lot of fun over on Twitter. Not non-toxic. Twitter is normally a toxic place, but not my Twitter community, I guess. It's really, really good. Now, I like Tej quite a lot. Obviously, one of the longest tenured characters in Fast and Furious, right? Kind of right along with Roman, which I do want to make a video about Roman in particular. Probably next week we'll do that. I think you probably could take one of them out. Now, the reason I say Tej is kind of because Ramsey is almost identical to him. Now, not exactly, right? And I know there's some people that maybe think that she's almost a replacement for Giselle. I mean, she could be in a way, but like Giselle was like definitely like her and Han were a thing, and Ramsey definitely seems to be like part of that love triangle that they kind of just mess around with, have fun with Roman and Tej. So I don't think she's literally a replacement for Gal Gadot. I think she's just somebody that kind of worked its way in. And by the way, I really like her. I think she's a really, really good character. Obviously not been in it all that much, right? But I think she's established herself. You could argue, could they take her out? She's been in 2 movies. This is her 3rd. They did that with Gal Gadot. And technically, they kind of did that. Well, depends on how you want to figure how much they put Han in certain movies. But they were around that 3 to 4 movie area before they took them out. So definitely possible. When you look at people like Tej, when you look at like Roman, even like Letty and Mia, those are obviously long-standing characters. I look at Tej as a character that could be killed off again for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's very close with Ramsey, and I guess I mean that in their relationship, but I also mainly mean that in their character. Like, he can drive, and he's effective on the field. I know we're kind of like really analyzing the actual character of like what he does. Like, he's able to drive and do stuff, but if you notice, like when they do the shots of them like in the cars and stuff, he's normally not a big factor of it. He's definitely the person who knows how to hack things, right? He's very, very smart. He can drive. He's talented in that way, but they focus on normally like Hobbs. They focus on Roman. They obviously focus on Dom quite a bit. Now with Han back, by the way, Han is an extremely skilled driver. They'll probably focus on him quite a bit. Obviously Mia and Letty. So like, they have a lot of people they can focus on when they're driving. Tej normally isn't on the top of the list, and he really shouldn't be, honestly, because he's not, his speciality isn't in driving. And so when you look at him with like hacking and knowledge and just that kind of stuff, that's pretty much what she is. So the only difference is she literally can't drive. Obviously, right, they made the joke of that in one of the Nine's trailers where she says, like, I've never actually, like, I don't actually drive. So that was pretty funny, by the way. But like that's really the only thing that keeps them separate. Another thing, I guess you could say, well, why do they have to die at all? Well, I do feel like there needs to be stakes in Fast and Furious. Now, like, it's kind of hypocritical of me to say that, right? Because I also want Giselle back, and I did want Han back and all that stuff. So it's like, well, I want certain characters back, but I do want there to be stakes. Look, Fast and Furious is long past the day of being the most serious in the world movie. Any longtime fan, any fan of the first couple and haven't liked the new ones, or even if you have loved the new one, which is kind of like me. I love all of them except for Tokyo Drift. I love all of them, and I think, honestly, they've done their best work 5 on, which I know is not everybody's opinion, and I get that, but even I will admit, like, yeah, it's not the most serious of things. And again, the idea of kind of weight, it's not there as much, and that's I think that's one of the main issues with Fast and Furious is they build such a huge cast, a really great cast and great characters, but they don't know, like, if they take them out, they may bring them back, or, you know, there's not really consequences for some of the stuff that happens. Brian was honestly a good candidate to eventually maybe be killed off in like a super heroic way, but because obviously of Paul and all that stuff, you can't do that. You're not gonna kill any females, and I say that only because, and I guess, like, obviously Ramsey is a female, so like if they kill her, that would go against it. But like with the female spinoff thing happening, which I'm fine with, honestly, I don't know if they would take people out, right? Because if they're taking people out, then you don't have as many people to work with like, for right now, you have Mia, you'd have Letty, Eva Mendez's character, Vin Diesel very much hinted that she'll be back. So like you have her, you'd have Ramsey, but you don't have that many girls. Now, if you bring back Giselle, you'd have her, you know, as well. You'd have Vanessa Kirby's character, right, the Shaw's sister, so you'd have her. So you're starting to build a pretty solid group, right? But then if you were to take one of them out or two of them out in these movies, like you could have had Elena, but now obviously you can't, right? So there's more men than girls, and I'm not one. It's like, oh, you need to have an equal amount or stuff like that. I mean, you do what makes the most sense to the story, and if the story and the characters work, then they work. But to take them out, so I know I'm kind of shifting it a little bit to Ramsey, but to me, I feel like it's time to take a character out. There was no deaths in 8, no main character, obviously like villain stuff, I get, but not even like Cypher didn't even go. So there wasn't really anything in 8, and even actually in 7 as well. There was absolutely nothing except for Paul Walker in real life, which obviously sucked. But in terms of consequences, 7 and 8, besides Elena, I guess, right? Elena was the big one in 8. There really was nothing. The last one was 6 with Han and Giselle. Justin Lin is back, and now that's another difference, right? Justin Lin's back. He's the one who did 6, and he obviously did a bunch more before, but he didn't do 7 and 8. So I would think that, 9 is a pretty good opportunity to add back weight to the franchise, and I think you do that by killing. I'd honestly argue kill off kind of a main thing. Ramsey would be big, but she wouldn't be that big, right? You can't even entertain the idea of like Hobbs or even Shaw, right? Because you have their own spin-offs, and you're not going to kill. You're not going to do that. You're not going to kill Vin Diesel in 9. Maybe you would eventually have him die in the final movie, like a Tony Stark thing. But to me, Tej, Roman, those are two very big candidates. And I would also argue Jacob, by the way, John Cena's character. I'd argue him. So those are the 3 characters we're going to be doing videos for over the next couple weeks. But Tej, I think, does make a lot of sense. It would be very shocking. It would be very powerful because I think he is a very likable character. But again, I mean, I don't mind him. Like him and Ramsey's dynamic, especially even in 8, which they kind of played with and they kind of made some jokes about and stuff. I really like it. Again, you're kind of developing that triangle. Him and Roman have definitely developed this thing. And now I would argue Roman and Han. And that's another, actually, let me say that. That's another reason why you could kill Tej off. Because, yes, he does have a relationship with Roman that's grown over the years, okay? And it's really good. I'm not saying like it's bad. It's really, really good. But remember, Roman did have a thing with Han. Specifically, I would argue, in 6, with the kind of like the fighting. They joked about like him and Giselle, right? About like putting a ring on her finger and all that stuff. So like they have like it's not like a perfect thing like a match made in heaven, but they have like a weird dynamic that actually really, really works. So you already have them, and then obviously with Han sidelined, you could have Tej and Roman kind of do stuff together. But now that you have Han back, if he's a main part of it going forward, these next 2 movies after 9, I mean, you really, again, like that's another replacement. So like you already have a hacker, a smart character, somebody who can do literally everything Tej can do to kind of help the gang out, right, in Ramsey. So you don't necessarily need 2 of them. It's fine if you do, but you don't need 2 of them. And then if you want to say, well, he's got that kind of dynamic with Roman, well, Han has a different kind of dynamic with Roman that, you could say is worse, you could say is better, definitely up to your opinion. But again, that's another thing. It's like, well, you don't necessarily need him. So again, I don't want to see him die, right? Because it would absolutely be sad. Like, there's no doubt about it. It'd be shocking and sad. But I do want weight to these movies, even though they're not the most, weighted movie franchise in the world, but I do want weight to them. And so I would actually like a character death just to kind of keep the stakes at a certain level. And so if we're talking about candidates, I think he's honestly one of the better ones. So like I said, we'll talk about Jacob, we'll talk about Roman in the next couple videos, but let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think? Do you think Tej could be killed off? Please no spoilers. I think there's already been screenings of this movie. I think people have seen it already, some people. So if you have seen it, please, for the love of God, don't spoil anything for me. I love this franchise. I don't want to be spoiled on this one. Let me know what you guys think. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, leave a like if you guys did like this video. Again, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter or any other of my social media accounts, the links for all of them are in the description below. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll do another Fast and Furious video, try and do them every single week, around every single Sunday maybe, and I hope to see you guys there.